spider monkey.
No, the diamonds are here.
You greasy bastard. Where's my shoes?
Sign your pity on the running time.
Big and white and cruel and mean.
Kiss my Converse. Easy, white chocolate. I wouldn't want you to melt.
But you just have to give me twice as much blood.
I'm coming.
I don't want you to come.
You're gonna need a bigger
Spider monkey. Spider monkey. Hold on tight, spider monkey.
All right, and welcome to the Bowels of Movie Night. I'm Isaac, and with me, as always, is my fearless co-host, Larry. How are you doing this week, Larry?
So, I don't know how familiar you are with Garfield comics, but
Quite at least the first few decades.
Okay, I got a Garfield desk. I'm a big fan. I always have been. I got a Garfield desk calendar because I'm fucking 65 years old.
Yeah, you basically are Garfield. What are your thoughts on lasagna?
Kind of. Well, I don't see. That's a problem considering the subject matter I'm about to bring up. I have a Garfield desk calendar, and I don't have room for it on my desk at work, unfortunately. But I do have it here for the podcast because I have some little nice things here I got for people. And I had this Garfield desk calendar, and I was a little behind because the last time we recorded, I usually pull them off and get to the date and look at them all. Garfield. So I had about 25 to go through. John is dating the veterinarian Liz now. And it got real, misogynistic. In he beats her or anything like that, but it's just she wants to turn his man cave into a craft room, and, he doesn't compliment her shoes fast enough. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, Jim Davis out of touch?
Well, he's got to be, 75 now, right? I mean, Garfield started in 1978.
Yeah, he's old as sin.
Yeah.
It was just kind of surprising. I was sort of like, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. I guess you can only write so many jokes about Garfield being fat.
I'm sure Jim Davis' take on relationships is not modern, shall we say.
Right. I mean, they still think they're relatively wholesome, and John is still John never wins. The fact that he's dating a woman is mind-boggling to me. John never wins. He's still, But, yeah, it's just a little surprising, I guess. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? We might have to stop recording. I just realized my wife missed a spot when she shined my shoes this morning, and I have to go rectify that.
I don't even... Oh, God. Man, Jesus Christ. Okay, we are the Bowels of Movie Night. I'm not here. My name is John Smith. I don't want to be associated with this man anymore.
What is... Oh, no, you're John Arbuckle. That's right.
Hey, John R. Fuckle, please. That actually has been my name on Discord for... 6 months now.
Oh, God. So, yeah, we make each other watch bad movies, and you get to get all the sperm that comes out of it.
The dog, real quick, 2 quick things. One, the dog is a real pain in the ass, and he decided that because I'm not paying him attention, he's going to squeak something. So I have to go let him out real quick. And second, I live in the middle of nowhere, and my fucking weird uncle, I wish I was kidding, is now, I think, mowing my lawn for the second time this week. And
gotta
so
keep it short.
It's as short as my fucking bald head. So if you hear a tractor in the background, there's literally nothing I can do about that other than move to a place that doesn't have so many hicks.
Tractor? I hardly know her.
I can't believe you made that joke not only once, but twice.
Well, the first time wasn't on air, so I couldn't share it with our thousands and thousands of listeners.
Yeah, folks, it's not like he and I are all business when we're off the air. The amount of good bits we've lost because we didn't have the record running is amazing. So I'm going to give you a chance, Isaac, to look at my ass while I go and let this fucking stupid dog out.
Okay. That's pretty bodacious. I could bounce a quarter off of that and suck it back into my mouth.
Well, I look forward to hearing whatever the stupid horse shit that you say about me when I'm gone.
You're going to be angry.
I always am. All right.
Yeah.
What's this show? Who are we?
Bowels of Movie Night. This is a terrible movie. So find us on the internet, the Facebook, the Twitter. Send us an email, bowelsofmovienight@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. This movie actually came from a suggestion someone emailed, the lovely Sarah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Only suggest movies for Larry.
Close to a decade of friendship. Really awesome. Thanks a lot. Awesome. And just fantastic.
You can also, we have another online presence. It's called theearlybeard.com for all your beards that wake up with the roosters.
Okay.
We're trying, the podcast is up there too, so you can check it out there. Yes. And we have a couple little reviews of things. We're gonna do some more, and just working on expanding this little project, and there might be other projects in the future.
Yeah, we want to get a few more listeners, and
April this year was a record month for us.
That's crazy
by a decent amount, like 15% more than our previous record month.
Yeah, and I've been trying to hit it hard lately, but if you, I can hear you giggling already in my brain, even though I know you're not allowed, I can hear you doing it later. If you could just leave us like a 5-star or less, whatever we've earned review on your favorite app, that would be marvelous. If you want to leave us like a written review somewhere too, that'd be also great. But the stars thing is what's really going to help us get out to more people. So,
and if you want to recommend it to someone who might like this kind of bizarre filth, like your lovely grandmother. And if you want to send me nudes of her, please do so. bowelsofmovienight@gmail.com.
Care of Isaac Early. Please, for the love of God, please don't do this to me.
You don't like GILFs?
I don't want to see anyone who listens to this show naked.
Well, no, just take nude pictures of your grandmother, even if she doesn't listen, and then
they're
we'll use them
dead.
To blackmail her.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're talking about me.
Okay, so, Larry, what are you covering this week?
Nothing. I refuse. I'm not doing this.
No, but you're legally
I'm not
obligated.
doing this. I'm not fucking doing this.
Remember the contract we signed in blood under the full moon with our wieners and goats?
I remember the goats. Honestly,
that was the best part, honestly.
I only remember the goats. I don't want to do this. This review took me 4 hours.
Jesus.
It took me 4 hours. I really don't want to do this. I didn't want to watch it twice. I didn't want to think about it twice. I don't want to think about it a third time. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Oh man.
Think of it as a lodged turd that you just have to reach up into yourself and smush around so it'll come out. And then the relief that you'll feel.
Great. That's great listening. That's great. It's really great podcasting you're doing there, Isaac.
Yeah, some people eat podcast while listening to their lunch.
Yep, I eat. I can't even. It's an evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn. And again, Sarah, one of my oldest and dearest friends, seriously, why don't you go fuck yourself right off a cliff? Thank you for this. I hate it.
I saw the preview when it first came out on Netflix a couple of years ago and like mentally filed it and I have to watch that at some point. That looks interesting.
Here's the thing, Isaac. I want you to watch it because of how bad it is, and I want to talk to you about it, and because it's in the genre of movie that you like, the quirky horseshit nonsense movie. But then again, I'm afraid if you like it, our friendship may be irrevocably damaged.
Oh boy.
I'm
sure it'll be no Wes Anderson.
We're going to be talking, believe it or not, we're going to be talking a lot about Wes Anderson as this goes along. In a way, I may yearn for him in some strange way because, my God.
I might have another movie I could give you.
I might have a bullet with your name carved into it that I'm going to send you in the mail. So yeah, I'd love for someone to explain to me how this just went so fucking wrong. But An Evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn, it has a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, which a little higher than normal, but still fairly low for,
all things
an
considered.
art housey kind of movie with the cast that it has, which we'll get into that a lot. And it has a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, at a tomato meter, and a 49% audience score. So, not great.
It's always interesting when the critic outpaces the audience, but still not very good for either.
Well, in this sort of art housey type movie, when you're gonna get splash damage of like people who like Aubrey Plaza from Parks and Rec, there's nothing wrong with those with people who aren't watch a bunch of crap like we do. Not at all. But you're going to get, that it's sort of just, this is not for the masses. This is a film for Sundance. Guess what?
Okay.
How many awards it won at Sundance?
Did it?
0.
But they showed it at Sundance, right?
Oh, Isaac, of course they did. Look at that movie poster. Yes, they showed this at Sundance. But this is a 2018 American-British, I didn't realize it was British, but whatever, crime comedy film. It is not a crime film in any stretch of the imagination. Directed by Jim Hosking, who barely has a presence in the internet. I would like to kindly ask him to retire, perhaps take up a job somewhere, I don't know, doing literally anything else. There's many fine industries in this country, if you're our Englishman. So, hopefully your passport's been revoked. But there are many fine jobs in your country, which I'm sure need to be done, that could be better than what you do now, which is make terrible movies. So, please, by all means, please.
You could work in a dildo factory.
You can work in a dildo factory.
My wife often marvels at the thought of that there's a lot of people out there who work in dildo factories.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Why not?
She just brings it up like once every 6 months. She may want me to buy her a dildo.
Yes, probably. They're not a sponsor, but adamandeve.com.
Yeah. It's always right before birthday and right before Christmas, oddly enough.
Weird it's not your anniversary.
No, God, no. That's a day of mourning.
Well, yeah. But got sad. I mean, there's a lot. Guys, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, no. Larry's already...
This is going to be a long episode. This is going to be a long one.
He had his hands braced against his forehead in anguish.
I need you to buckle in. And I'm man, here's the problem. This movie is wretched garbage, but the cast is so good. It makes it's so weird. Because the casting, if I would love to see this same exact cast in a different movie that was good. It would be incredible. Incredible. How did this happen? So, anyway, let's just get into it. We're just going to do a lot of stopping and starting and my crying and punching. We open up on, you may have guessed this, a lot of production houses. Which shocks no one, of course. I'd grumble about it more, but we have a lot of shit movie to get through as is. So, our opening shot features a musical theme that I'm going to call synthesized screaming.
That was odd.
Yeah, imagine you're just sitting there watching a fucking movie like a normal person, and then all of a sudden, blah, blah. Yeah, it's great. You know,
my apologies to all your ears.
Sorry,
but at least your grandmother heard
it. Yeah, I didn't realize how loud that sounded. This synth scream and trombone-sounding response is featured throughout the movie and is often echoed in other songs on the soundtrack. And while it's bizarre, I don't hate it necessarily, but it certainly is jarring when suddenly the shot transitions and you hear blah. And it does certainly set the tone that this is a quirk movie that's going to be very proud of its form over substance.
You should use the music on Bluetooth speakers the next time you make love and just set it on repeat.
That'll be great. That's
time your thrusts to the music.
You break your penis and bruise your girlfriend's tailbone. Well, funny story. I was listening to the soundtrack of a terrible movie. Anyway, we see our protagonist, Lulu, sprawled out on a bed smoking a cigarette. Lulu is played by Aubrey Plaza, who, if you're not familiar, is a wonderful actress. She was April Ludgate in Parks and Rec, which Parks and Rec is The Office, but better. Fight me. I don't care. Fight me. Anyone fight me. The Office is very overrated, and Parks and Rec is underrated comparatively.
I
even
agree,
though it's a very good
but
show.
I wouldn't say The Office is overrated.
It's absolutely overrated, 100%.
The Office is very good, but
it's
Parks and Rec
show.
is better.
It's a good show, but I've never wanted to keep watching it.
Parks and Rec is almost perfect.
Parks and Rec, as far as like network sitcom, I guess it's not even a sitcom, is it? I don't know what you'd call it. It's a sitcom.
It is. It's just a single camera instead of the multi-camera like Seinfeld shit.
Yeah, it is probably the closest to perfect as sitcoms ever going to be, besides Seinfeld, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but she's in other things too. But her career is still. I don't want to say getting started because that makes it sound like this is her first fucking thing she's ever done. But like, I think she'll be around for a long time. She's very talented. I also saw her in another movie recently that was surprisingly good. It was like a romance movie, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was like I forget what it's called. Happiest Season, which I watched that with a friend of mine. It was cute, but she was in that, and she's in other stuff. I am not super familiar with all of her work, but yeah, I think people know her as April from Parks and Rec. But yeah, she is very talented. And I have nothing kind of things to say about her. Don't know why she was in this. Wish she didn't. Wish she didn't. Wish she hadn't. But I mean, you'll be hearing that a lot. We see Plaza working in a tiny little coffee shop along with two other employees and her husband. The other goons are played by Zach Cherry, who stars in a show called Severance that is next on my list to watch, and he was the guy recording the martial arts fight on the bus in Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, if you're a Marvel fan.
I am not.
Okay. And some other guy who I haven't heard of, but it sounds like he only does indie art house crap and Adult Swim shows, which isn't, boy, a thing we're going to be revisiting again when I'm screeching about it. Anyway, these two goons don't matter all that much. They'll just be called coffee goons, since this movie has a lot of characters with big personalities to keep straight as is. The husband and manager of the coffee shop is played by Emil Hirsch, who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was one of the... I don't want to spoil the plot of that movie because it's amazing, but he plays one of the people in the actual real life Manson murders who was murdered by the Manson family. He was I think he was dating one of the Tate LaBianca girls. I don't quite remember.
Oh, okay. I forgot that was his role. He was also in his breakout was Into the Wild, I think it's called.
That's the next line, yeah. He was nominated for like literally 1 billion awards as Chris McCandless is Into the Wild.
That was a good movie.
I didn't see it. You know what? We had the book in high school, and I didn't finish reading it. I just kind of, I'm relatively smart, and I was able to wing my way through the tests. But yeah, I'm told it's good. It's just not really my style of book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it when I saw it. I don't think I have the urge to watch it again necessarily. But yeah, I don't know. It was solid. 6 or 7 out of 10, maybe.
He seriously did was nominated for it and won quite a few awards. So I'm not really familiar with his work. I saw him Once Upon a Time, but I don't. The rest of his movies, I don't really. Maybe a bit part I've seen him in. But so anyway, these four are in the coffee shop. They all work out one morning. We see that Hirsch is a jerk and berates his employees and gives them a bunch of shit. We also see that everybody is speaking in an exaggeratedly weird cadence and in a way that indicates that we are watching an art house movie, not some cash grab Steven Spielberg over-the-top production. My work is a delicate flower that cannot exist unless I make it perfectly clear to the audience how they should be feeling about my movie.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know how well I would deal with that.
It's very, very obvious what the vibe going for was, and we'll talk about it at the end, but I'm wondering if that was a joke. Some part of me thinks that this guy, when he made this movie, was prepared to either say, I'm a fucking film genius, or it was all a joke, man. I was mocking. You know how Tommy Wiseau with The Room, he marketed it and, thinks of it as this, deep drama, take on the human psyche and blah, 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 even though he just wanted to fucking writhe on top of a mostly naked woman and then call it a movie. But then everyone was making fun of it because it's a garbage piece of trash, and then he was like, yeah, it was a comedy the whole time.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that this guy, this Jim Hoskins, I think is his name. I've already closed it because fuck him.
John Arbuckle.
It's John Arbuckle. Jim Hosking. I have a feeling he was very prepared to just say, nope, I was making fun of Wes Anderson the whole time. I don't desperately want to be him, but can't hack it. Because, the way they talk is so, the cadence frequently is so inhuman, where it's just because Aubrey Plaza's character's name is Lulu, and the one guy who works at the coffee shop, he's like, hey, Lulu, check out the dance I can do. And he's, doing a jerky, exaggerated dance, and we're supposed to think it's so fucking quirky and so delightful, even though it's not.
That sounds stupid.
It is stupid. It is stupid. But before we go too much further, because it's going to come up a lot, I need to break here and launch into, the big unscripted thing about the acting in this movie. Now, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. I write these reviews basically how I speak. Most of the time in my reviews, I write in full sentences in my own cadence so I can capture exactly the thoughts I'm thinking when I watch the movie with my own 2 greasy eyes.
Greasy eyes, gross.
But considering I have a lot to say about the acting this time, I'm doing it totally off the dome because this movie is difficult to judge in a way because of how good many of the actors present are. Nobody in this movie is necessarily going to win an award for acting, but technically, the cast of this movie should be out there, winning Oscars and getting slapped for making bad jokes at the Oscars. There is enough talent in this movie to make a smash hit. We haven't even got to it yet, but Aubrey Plaza, amazing. Jermaine Clement is the other main character, amazing. Emil Hirsch, I hear he's great. I don't really know personally, but I hear he's great. He's going to win a ton of awards. Matt Berry, I contend, is the greatest actor living walking this earth today. like Craig Robinson also. I'm not the hugest fan in the world of The Office. I have no problem with Craig Robinson. Seems like he's great. I don't know a lot of his work. Also, this should be a fucking knock out of the park. Even if it was, well, I don't want to get into Wes Anderson stuff too early, but like, if Wes Anderson did this, it would be a much better movie with these people, because I feel like it's really hard to fuck up with a cast this good. Like,
those are bold words coming from
the creator had a need to make a very specific type of movie that stifles these amazing actors and actresses into these weird, unlikable facsimiles of Wes Anderson type characters that are all weird, random quirk and absolutely no substance. The acting in this movie, like especially for a Bowles movie, is so good, and it's so well above the level of what I'd expect for almost any film I'm watching. But the problem is the vehicle getting us there is so crappy, I can't even enjoy it. They made me sad about a Matt Berry performance, for fuck's sake.
So would you blame most of it on the writing or the directing?
Same guy. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Believe it or not, same guy. Because it's an art house picture, Isaac. Like, it's just... the actors are so forced into these very specific roles that, like, it takes away the things that make them good actors. I mean, not entirely. That's the thing. Like, you can't rob certain people of their charm. And Jermaine Clement is one of them. I don't think you could rob Jermaine Clement of his charm. I know we haven't got to him in the movie yet. I don't think you could rob that man of his charm if you held him at gunpoint and said, stop being charming. I don't think he's capable of it. But they tried really hard. I don't understand.
Poor Jermaine.
I don't understand. All right. So anyway, we'll probably break off into a lot of tangents on that as we go along. If I'm being honest, it's that kind of experience. So Emile Hirsch is berating the coffee shop employees, and a weird man comes in and stands way too close to Aubrey Plaza. And hey, guess what? He's a weird, quirky, slow-talking, quirky weirdo from the corporate office of the coffee shop. They go into the back, and corporate guy tells Hirsch that somebody at the coffee shop needs to be downsized. And because this is a delicate flower art house movie, the corporate guy makes it a point to speak in a robotic manner, like he's a corporate email come to life, because, do you get it, Isaac? Corporations are the bad guys.
I'd never thought of that before.
He also makes it a point to say Hirsch's character's name as much as possible, overly inserting it into every sentence. So Hirsch's character's named Shane Danger.
Ew.
Yep. And this guy, I think, and he has maybe a grand total of 2.5 minutes of screen time. I think he says Mr. Danger 11 times. Like, an outrageous amount of time for a normal sentence from a normal human being. Which, guess what? Not the last time I'm going to complain about that in this movie. Because that's just a fucking quirk thing that people love. That just makes their dicks hard.
That's weird.
I don't think I like movies.
You don't like most things.
I don't like anything.
I'm not getting good vibes from what you're laying down so far.
Oh, darling, we have barely started. We're in minute 3 of this movie. Anyway, Hirsch comes out onto the floor, and after being an angry weirdo for a minute, fires Plaza, his wife, off screen. We cut to that night to their home where they're eating spaghetti and meatballs. But Isaac, you may ask, how can you really fucking quirk it up? Yes, that's right. They're eating spaghetti with one gigantic, hilarious meatball. Not like the size of someone's head. It's just like... It's like if you eat... I don't know if you've ever eaten at a Buca di Beppo, listeners, which is a restaurant. It's like an Italian-style restaurant that does like family-style dinners. So if you order spaghetti and meatballs, you get enough for 4 people, and it's like one giant meatball. It's that. Because, I guess, art, question mark?
That's just a bunch of soggy beef. Like, part of the reason you have meatballs is so it's a little crunchier on the outside and soft in the middle. You'd totally lose that.
Yep. Well, don't worry. They don't actually eat them. I don't think they're real meatballs. Hirsch is lamely apologizing in his sort of nasty husband way for canning her, saying that corporate guy told him specifically that Plaza had to be fired, which is, of course, a lie. We see between their interactions that their marriage is very unhappy. Plaza puts out her cigarette on the meatball, which for some reason, weirdly an image that kept popping into my head. I don't know why. It's really bothered me. I think I just don't like seeing food be ruined because I'm a fat piece of shit who needs to be killed. And we see them in the bathroom getting ready for bed. Plaza is clearly in a funk and spends the next day staring at the TV smoking cigarettes. Hirsch comes by and gives her a $5 bill to go get herself one of those cinnamon swirly things you like so much at the bake shop. Which, by the way, this movie takes place in what appears to be the 70s, which is among my least favorite decades aesthetically, right behind the 50s. It's 50s, 70s, everything else kind of melts together. So everything in this movie looks like junk because that was the 70s. Immortalizing trash.
Lots of wood paneling and wallpaper.
The wood paneling is so obvious, it's on the movie poster. And the ugly mustard carpets, shitty wallpaper, it's all there and it's all terrible. I mean, the set design did a good job. They got it right.
Right, but
I just aesthetically, it just puts me in a... I just don't... It's a gross decade. So at the coffee shop, the other two goons are sad that Plaza is gone because she was fun. More quirk as Hirsch slowly points at them in an overly exaggerated manner when he's saying, like, one of you could be next, and then there's like 10 seconds as he like moves his finger between them. I'm sure it's real fucking deep. And I'm just too stupid to get it. Hirsch lies to the goons, saying Plaza is happy not to be working. The goons want to be paid more, and Hirsch says he saves every scrap of money he can before going to take a 25-minute shit. That's not the movie. That's not me making that up. That is what was in the movie. The one goon even says who takes a 25-minute shit. Again, real poignant. That night, Hirsch comes home, and Plaza is still on the couch. Hirsch continues to lie to her about why she got fired. There's more obvious tension here between them, and it's definitely a loveless marriage. I get it. I want to point out again, Aubrey Plaza is a great actress, really top-notch, and though I'm not as familiar with Hirsch, he's doing an okay job on his own, too. Like, they're doing fine. It's just, written very obviously.
It's like you get a world champion sandcastle maker and make them make a sandcastle out of shit.
That is an exceptionally audible... Okay.
I see weird things on TikTok in between the boobs.
Like actually spread the breasts apart, or?
Yes.
Okay. Plaza is demanding a better TV for her to sit and watch all day on her fat, flat ass, her words, but Hirsch says they don't have that type of money. Plaza says her brother Adjay has that kind of money in his cash box, which Hirsch scoffs at, and then for the rest of the movie becomes completely obsessed with for the entirety, and now his entire character centers on this cash box.
Stealing money from her brother.
Yes. Fucking kill me. Hirsch gets in the tub, and Plaza sees a commercial for an evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn for one magical night only. The commercial involves Craig Robinson, who he played Daryl on The Office, I believe.
Yes.
And I don't have his Wikipedia pulled up because I am not a professional. But he I mean, again, much like with Aubrey Plaza and April Ludgate in Parks and Rec, I would say people know Craig Robinson from The Office. He also, I believe he's the Pontiac Bandit.
Yep, Doug Judy.
He is Doug Judy, the Pontiac Bandit. I know a couple episodes ago, I believe I said the Cadillac Bandit like an idiot.
No, and that's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Another great show.
Yes, it is. He has had a long career in a lot of things. Like he's been in a lot of things, but I would say that Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Office are probably his most known.
Mm-hmm.
But so the commercial is him in a Scottish Highland outfit, like the checkered sort of like not a kilt, but very close to a kilt, and like a suit jacket that's checkered and it's all like pink or purple checker, and he's got like the beret with the puffball. I don't know if it's called the beret, but I mean, I think if you look up Scottish Highland hat, you'll get it. Like, you'll see what I mean.
It's like an old-timey golf hat.
Yes, exactly. I want to say beret with a pom-pom, but you'll get it. So the commercial is him in front of like a green screen space background, moving towards the screen with his eyes glowing, while Matt Berry, who we'll get to very soon, is like just saying, "An evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn for one magical night only," and it just sets the tone for everything that's to come.
See, I'm liking that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I just know what's coming. Isaac, you're not going to believe this fucking shit.
Oh my God.
So yeah, and so Craig Robinson is playing Beverly Luff Linn. And as a quick aside, normally on this show, when the actor is a bigger name actor, we tend to use their name as opposed to the character name, mostly because, in my opinion, this is an audio medium, and when you're throwing a lot of names out, it's kind of hard to keep track of a character's name when they're being played by a particular actor who you probably know, and I think that helps contribute to our thoughts on them. So usually I like to, like Aubrey Plaza, her character's name is Lulu, I'm calling her Plaza, so you understand I'm talking about Aubrey Plaza. In this case, for Craig Robinson, normally I would call him Robinson or Craig, but Beverly Luff Linn is so integral to the plot that I have to continue to call him Beverly Luff Linn. Craig, nothing against you. You did fine. Well, I have some complaints. I have some notes, but I'm going to continue to call him Beverly Luff Linn. And if you don't know who Craig Robinson is, he is like a very large black man. Like he is tall and broad. So he's hard to miss. Like you would see him in a crowd. So yeah, and by the way, much like with the fucking scene earlier, because the Craig Robinson's name is Beverly Luff Linn, the director thought I should make everyone say Beverly Luff Linn as much as humanly possible. So it's in the movie many times, as much so as every name, because somehow that's a trait to just make the characters say each other's names.
I don't like that.
No, neither do I. So Plaza is very distressed upon seeing Beverly Luff Linn and goes to a little box in her underwear drawer where she pulls out a picture of her and Beverly Luff Linn posing for several pictures together. All the while, Hirsch is in the tub going on and on about the cash box that Odd J, her brother, has. So speaking of this friggin' cash box, Hirsch and the two other coffee goons head into Odd J's store, which appears to be just a randomly generated general store. Odd J is an Indian-esque character who has dyed red hair, like fire engine red, not Faye Reagan red. The coffee goon is very, very poorly distracts Odd J by looking for the grains of paradise, some spice mixture, which I will give credit. I wish I was in the spice business so I could sell a spice mixture called the Grains of Paradise. That's a great one. Fantastic. You get a 10 out of 10 on that particular joke. Fucking Judd Hirsch, or whatever the hell the director's name was. I don't even know anymore.
It was not that.
No, it sure wasn't. Emil Hirsch sneaks behind the counter and tries to steal the cash box. By the way, they're wearing really shitty wigs for some reason, and basically Hirsch and the two goons just continue to wear these wigs for the rest of the movie, and I don't really understand why. But
quirk.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Isaac, you're right. I'm wrong. Ajay catches on that this is a robbery and recognizes Hirsch immediately because he is married to Ajay's sister.
Right, what is
this is an art house movie with a twisted take on how Hollywood pictures are made, this interaction is just as weird as you'd expect, and if you don't believe me, go watch it for yourself, you fucking pukes. Long story short, Hirsch steals the cash box and they get away. By the way, this cash box that is basically the impetus for this entire film, it's like half the size of a shoebox. There cannot...
Right.
Even
if it's stuffed with $100 bills.
There is a certain amount, like, my best friend and I go over to my old boss's place once a week to have dinner, and we watch a movie when we have dinner, and we always like to laugh at how, someone in a movie will say, like, oh, I want $1 million, and I want an unmarked bills, and put it in a bag, and then there's this bag overflowing with money, but then it's like, that would be like $400 million. Like, $1 million is not that much. But on the reverse side, this cash box, which Emil Hirsch gets obsessed with, and basically just becomes the centerpiece of the whole movie, really, kind of. It's like it can't hold that much money. It's not that big. But I don't know. So Plaza is out getting a cinnamon swirl and sees a poster for Beverly Luff Linn, and we get more screaming synth. That night at a laundromat, Ajay is standing there in his underwear for some reason, complaining to some other person at the laundromat who doesn't believe Ajay's story about her stealing the money, and eventually just starts screaming at him as they walk off. I don't understand, but we'll get to it in a bit. Our other protagonist finally shows up as we see Jermaine Clement is also in the laundromat. Jermaine Clement is one half of Flight of the Conchords, a New Zealand band who did comedy music, sort of like The Lonely Island, I would say, but they did a much different version of that. They had a TV show as well, but it ran a few seasons, but they were, I don't think they were really interested in the fame as much. I think they just kind of liked to do it.
The show was interesting. Did you ever see it?
I did see a few episodes. Yeah.
It's a good take because they're struggling musicians in New York, and it's the right kind of quirky where it actually works out okay. Mm-hmm. And they have a lame manager who, I don't know. It kind of it's like a weird twist on almost The Office kind of humor, but still different. Yeah, sort of. And it's kind of old now, right? Like early 2000s? Yeah, I was watching it when I was maybe but yeah, it's probably at least 15 years old. Yeah. So and Jermaine Clement has more so than oh my god, what's the other one's name? Shit. John Arbuckle. Well, I can't think of his name. Oh my god.
Well, Jermaine
Yeah,
Clement has more spun off into a bigger Hollywood career. You, the listener, probably know him. He did the Shiny song. I think it was from Moana, right? With the crab.
Right.
With the
He
goat.
plays the crab.
Yeah, the
big
crab in Moana who has the gold shell who sings the song Shiny. That is Jermaine Clement. Jermaine Clement has a fucking amazing voice. Jermaine Clement is an amazing actor. He is also in What We Do in the Shadows, which the movie, and he does make an appearance on the show, which I haven't seen the movie, but it's supposed to be very good. The show we're going to talk about, he features Matt Berry. We'll be talking about that shortly, and I love Matt Berry. I want to make love to him, so we'll get to that. I'm going to gush about that later. But Jermaine Clement is in a lot more mainstream. He's in a lot of it. He's in Rick and Morty. He plays the fart that Morty befriends that has the psychic powers.
Man, I still have to watch that. Goddamn.
It's a good show. Just pretend no one else in the world watches it, and it's much better. Seriously, because the fandom is the worst part about it. It's a great show, but just pretend you're the only one who knows about it and don't talk to anyone else about it. But yes, Jermaine Clement, great, love him. Voice like a fucking angel. So
There's fucking angels now?
There's always been fucking angels. I was like, have you read the Bible? I love
What
Jermaine
kind of fucking
Clement.
do they do?
Missionary. I love Jermaine Clement, and it's a goddamn pity that he's in this stupid movie. He's still very much a delight, despite the clunkiness surrounding him. But he, like I said, he is so charming. It is really hard to take that charm away. He'd have to do crimes to take that charm away, in my opinion.
No, don't. I don't want him Me Too'd.
No, I don't think
he's.
I don't think
boy.
it's possible. He's nice.
a good boy.
Hearing Ajay's distress, he mentions that he's a drifter from out of town who is willing to help Ajay recover his monies from Hearst for a small fee. I absolutely love the term monies, and I love Jermaine Clement. I love his voice. I like the way he says, "I'll help you get your monies back from." I can't do a New Zealand accent. I cannot even remotely copy the voice, but he's like, "I'm here to help you get your monies back from the Mr. Shane Danger." Like he's Jermaine Clement's great. Just go listen to him fucking talk. So he says he'll go collect the monies for a small fee. How can a movie with this good of a cast go so wrong, I wonder? Who knows? We'll get to it. Ajay tells Clement that he must blow out Hirsch's kneecap in the recovery, and then calls for his checkbook from the person who was screaming at him earlier. This character's name, according to the credits, is DJ Valerie Grills. I don't know what that joke is supposed to be, but Valerie has 2 scenes in this movie, and they both involve her over-exaggeratedly coughing too much.
What?
That's great.
That's...
You know what would be even funnier?
No.
If there was 2 characters that overly cough too much.
Why would they do that?
Hirsch and his goons get back to the house and go inside with the cash box, watched from afar by Clement. Clement gets out his gun from the glove box and goes to spy on the house from the front window. While spying inside, he is noticed by a returning Plaza, who invites him inside, asking if he is the party man. She keeps referring to him as the party man, and I'm sure the director thinks that he is very clever. So Clement is inside, sitting on the couch between the 2 goons, while Hirsch makes cappuccinos, which is a trait of his that keeps getting referenced, but I've been ignoring it, because after this scene, it's never referenced again, so I don't know why they fucking bothered with it in the first place. Plaza watches Hirsch coldly as she eats chips, and there's a very awkward scene, as basically everyone else tries to figure out who the hell Clement is and why he's here, because he just ended up sitting on their couch somehow. Eventually,
so
Clement pulls out his gun and demands the cash box back for Ajay. As everyone freezes, suddenly Plaza dumps her chips on Hirsch's head and demands Clement grab the cash box and give her the gun. Clement refuses, but she grabs him hard by the cock and wrenches the gun from his hand. Now holding... That was in the Rasputin episodes of Last Podcast on the Left, grabbed him hard by the cock, and I tried to use it as much as humanly possible in regular life. God, we got to stop sucking their dick. Ugh.
Got to start grabbing more cocks, Larry.
I do. Now holding Clement by gunpoint, Plaza demands he grab the money, and the 2 of them drive away while the synth reaches an insane fever pitch. One last art house quirk. Fuck you. Much like with the rest of the name stuff, Hirsch, his pet name for Plaza is Sweetie, and he basically ends every sentence with the word Sweetie. Even as she's driving away with the money with another man, he's in the street screaming, "Come back, Sweetie!" I just fucking what? Just sprinkle it in everywhere. Yeah, that's writing, right? That's how you do cleverness. That's what Wes Anderson would do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, this fucking movie is so much longer than the already long running time would make you think. It drags on you emotionally in a way that doesn't matter. Clement asks if they are taking the cash box to Ajay, but Plaza refuses. She says they're going on adventures together instead, still holding the gun on Clement. The 2 of them check into the Morehouse Hotel and meet the fat bellhop guy who the director is determined to make into a funny, quirky character, but I simply refuse. I simply outright refuse to acknowledge him and his antics. There's too many things going on there for me to care about the antics of the very ancillary characters that are supposed to make the world feel alive and vibrant, and everyone is this quirky. I just don't care. Turns out this is a hotel where Beverly Luff Linn will be performing his magical evening in a few days. There's some fucking just dragging dialogue here where they show how perfectly normal the characters are by having the perfectly normal conversations and a perfectly normal cadence about how to say what type of beds they need and how to properly pronounce Beverly Luff Lynn's name, because my picture is designed to show the cracks between normal life and flights of fancy in which an astute eye like mine can find the spark of the human condition. If my normal conversation the characters have is so normal, you will understand that it is in fact not a normal conversation at all, but a daring look into the psyche of my character's motivations, and I will make sure that this is obvious for everyone who may be watching my film. I really do hate this fucking movie. I really hate it really bad. I'm really
might be a little
upset.
biased.
I'm really upset. Plaza and Clement get a room together, and I swear an ex-girlfriend and I stayed in this exact room at a beach a long time ago. Like, I think I have video of it somewhere. It's like it's the room basically under the stairs, so there's like the big chunk cut out for the stairwell.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure I banged my head on that thing waking up the one morning.
That explains the brain damage.
I've banged my head off of a lot of things that explain a lot of the brain damage. Plaza wants Clement to give her a massage. Clement does it, but is clearly nervous and unsure of himself as Plaza leans in and tries to enjoy it. She explains she needed to get away from her husband. Clement wants to know if she's worried about people coming after them, particularly Ajay, since now they have the stolen cash box. Plaza says Ajay wouldn't come after them because he has panic attacks from choking on too much breast milk as a baby.
Okay.
Plaza stops the massage and hugs Clement, telling him he needs to protect her. He agrees, saying putting himself in harm's way for others' benefit is exactly what he does. She gets very flirty as she says she's going to take a bath and he should watch ... TV. Get it? I'm taking a bath and you should watch
I get
TV. Though he doesn't actually go in to watch her bathe. It really is just flirting. Which
I feel like even a very attractive woman watching her bathe wouldn't be that exciting, honestly.
No, I mean, I don't think I'll ever get tired of seeing the woman I love naked, but yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of like, yeah, I mean, it's a task you're accomplishing.
Right,
Well, whatever. Well, we cut to what should be the best news of my life. When at a convenience store, we see Matt Berry walking out to a car which clearly contains Beverly Luff Linn. Matt Berry is the greatest living actor walking the earth today.
Now I apologize, but I don't know him by name.
That's okay. I forgive you. You will. He is an English actor. I think his biggest breakout role was The IT Crowd, which is a very beloved English show. I have not seen it personally, not really. The clips I've seen, I don't really think it's my speed particularly. But he also, I would say his probably most prominent role is as the star of a show, I believe he also writes or contributes, he does the music for, called Toast of London, which I've mentioned on this podcast before. It is by far the best English show there's ever been made. It is, and here's the thing about it, it's random humor, and it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. Like, it's the random, sort of quirky humor, but it's written by a competent human being and a professional.
Yeah, that makes the difference.
It's so fucking good. Just if you just to get an idea, just look up a clip of just like a cut. And I think Channel 4, like the English Channel 4, has a super cut of Matt Berry talking to Clem Fandango. See,
that's a good name.
The work experience boy at the Soho Studios. It's Isaac. You have to watch this show. I think I've watched the entire show 4 times.
Oh, wow.
And I think I only found it like a year and a half ago.
See, quirky can be great if it's done. It's really easy to do wrong, really hard to do right. But when you do it right, it's great.
Yeah, that show is so fucking good. Like, you're missing out by not seeing it. And he is amazing in it. He's so funny. And probably more people know him now from What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show. He plays Laszlo, the vampire. Still just as amazing as he always is. Everything, and he also played the protocol droid kind of who works for Boba Fett in the Book of Boba Fett. That's his voice. He's in a lot of things now. Like he's all over the place, but my God, he's just so good. Like he's in Disenchantment as well. He's Prince Merkimer, the pig. I don't think he can do anything wrong. Like I'm not being funny. I genuinely think he is like the best actor of this generation of actors.
Oh wow, I really have to check him out.
He's really incredible, and he also is a musician. He's put out 9 albums.
Oh Jesus Christ!
He's done all the music for Toast of London, which I think ran from 2011 to 2015, and it's getting like a follow-up series. Now it's an English show, so a season in England is like 5 episodes.
It sounds like he's the English and talented version of Jared Leto.
I don't want to make those comparisons because I don't like Jared Leto at all.
But just the amount of music he's put out and the acting he's done.
Yeah, I don't know a ton of his music, but I did listen to some of his album Witch Hazel, which does have, because the theme song to Toast of London is incredible. It's called Take My Hand, and you should go listen to it. But yeah, if you're not getting the idea, I love Matt Berry with all my heart. So after all my kind words, you could see how much of a disappointment it would be to find that Matt Berry is like not allowed to be himself at all in this movie.
Oh.
And it's such a tragedy because like so much of the man's fucking talent comes out in Toast of London, which is a show about random humor that is done perfectly. And it's like, I normally hate that stuff, but that is like a perfect television show in my opinion. It's the best thing England has produced since America. Like, I can't gush about it enough. And the fact that Matt Berry, who is an insanely talented man, is being placed into this environment where he's proven he can shine in this type of movie, in this type of like sort of random, quirky, and still be incredibly funny and have the voice of a fucking choir of angels. Like, it's not allowed to shine. He's just like a guy. Like if I had just seen him in this, I would not think twice about this. I mean, his voice sounds incredible, but I would not think twice about him otherwise because he doesn't get a chance to like show off the things that make him great. And to me, that is a fucking crime.
Yeah, in this kind of ensemble cast, it seems like the director was way too ham-fisted in his directing, probably, and didn't let people improvise and do their own thing.
No, like it's like you took these people and you played to their strengths, and then you took 2 steps to the left, and then that's where you went. Because it's like, like I said, all these people are really good actors and actresses, but they're not like able to show it off because they have to service this plot. It's terrible. So anyway, what was I talking about besides Matt Berry? Can we just talk about Matt Berry for another hour and call it a day? Because
now your love of him is getting like, you haven't stalked him, have you?
No. I don't. Listen, I don't like actors or movies that much to ever stalk any of them. I don't think I
saw a twinkle in your eye when I did that John Travolta Fred Durst movie.
I don't think I like anything enough to stalk it. I just don't. I'm just not a happy person, Isaac. I'm kind of a miserable sack of shit for your entertainment. So anyway, Barry and Beverly Luff Linn drive to the hotel where Beverly Luff Linn, they're like in their car, they're getting food at a gas station, and they're driving to the hotel, and he's like, I can't even possibly begin to match the angelic voice that is Matt Berry, so I'm not going to try. Him and Jermaine Clement, man, I would love to hear them fuck or sing a song together, or I don't know, one of the two.
Why not both at the same time?
Have you ever tried singing they could do sex? A duet of Love Lift Us Up or We Belong while they're inside of each other. So yeah, and for some reason, Beverly Luff Linn, when Barry's like, "Okay, we're gonna head to the hotel," Beverly Luff Linn just kind of growls for some weird reason I don't understand. He just kind of goes like, but we'll get to that. Next day at the coffee shop, Ajay comes in to badger Hirsch about stealing the cash box. Ajay and Hirsch shout at one another, and they do it in a stupid, loud, yelly cadence because it's an art house picture. Hirsch and the goons grouse about why Plaza left, and it's not interesting or funny. Clement admits he doesn't know what's going on. Oh, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, Plaza and Clement are at a dinner, having gone shopping for a bunch of outfits for her we never get to actually see. Clement admits he doesn't know what's going on, but he's having a great time, clearly attracted to Plaza in some way. Plaza says they are going to the Beverly Luff Linn show tomorrow. They argue a bit about Beverly Luff Linn's name because Clement insists Beverly is a woman's name and Plaza insists it's a man's name. Isaac, do you get it? Isaac, do you get the joke?
I don't think there's a joke.
There's not.
Okay.
Both are clearly it's pretty obvious that Clement and Beverly are rivals for Plaza's affection. So of course Clement has to disagree with anything about Beverly. It's great. Clement
Isn't
gets
Beverly
onion
one of those names that used to be more of a boy's name? And
yeah,
now is
Plaza
more-
says something about how it's like in Scotland, it's like a very masculine name.
Yeah.
It was clearly done for effect, so I wasn't really paying attention to the words when I was typing because fuck all of this, fuck every word this man ever wrote. Clement gets onion ring cheese all over his face like a baby, and Plaza is annoyed because again, just that he's messy, and Plaza doesn't want him to be messy. Can you just insert a car horn sound and just be like, I just killed myself and my head is just stuck on the car horn for the next hour?
You're recording this in your car?
Are you not?
Yeah, I'm driving to Matt Berry's house. You told me to get there with an axe.
I don't remember that.
And
you better
lube.
not be there with an axe. You better be murdering somebody who's outside trying to murder him. The man is a saint. So Barry and Beverly Luff Linn arrive at the hotel. And here we learn now, Isaac, here's where the worm really turns. Beverly Luff Linn, Isaac, only grunts.
Oh no.
Beverly Luff Linn only communicates by going, "Arr!"
Oh.
Isaac, I have never seen something. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. I've never seen something so brilliant and so brave and so fucking brave, so amazing, such cutting to the heart of the human condition so fast. It moves me to tears. I touched my eyes when I was outside. I am going to be crying actual tears of allergies later. That was foolish. No. Beverly Luff Linn just fucking grunts. And this is why, I'm sure Craig Robinson's a great actor and a lot of stuff, but hard to take him seriously when his character just fucking grunts for the vast majority of the movie.
So is he supposed to be a zombie?
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Is
You'd
it
like
worse
me
than
to
that?
tell you. You'd like me to tell you, wouldn't you?
Oh,
I will tell you.
nervous.
I will tell you this much: there is no magic in this movie. It's no supernatural in any way.
What?
Does that help or make it worse?
Worse.
Oh, just wait. So yeah, like I said, he's dressed like a straight up Scotsman. Plaza and Clement run into Barry and Luff Linn in the hall, but Plaza hides so that they can't see her. We then cut to Clement adjusting his dick in a swim Speedo as we hard cut to he and Plaza in the hot tub. While they sit there, Beverly Luff Linn comes into the pool and he can't see them through like the steam of the hot tub. He is dressed in a pink swim cap and a giant pink onesie. I guess not onesies, not like a one-piece swimsuit. Onesie's not the right word.
Oh, that like goes up to his shoulders.
Yeah. Like a classic one-piece suit. The music swells immensely as Beverly Luff Linn starts to swim, grunting and groaning loudly the whole time, while Plaza is very visibly having an orgasmic reaction to this.
What?
Which upsets Clement, who appears to also be fascinated with Luff Linn, on the other hand. Luff Linn then ends his swimming session after one lap by screaming as loud as humanly possible and walking off.
What the fuck just happened?
Isaac, everything I complained about before was nothing but the first course of a very shitty meal.
Jesus almighty.
Later, Clement and Plaza are at the bar, which, again, I'm ignoring the quirky random bartender they want me to care about. Go fuck yourself, everyone on the planet except for me. I hate you all, and I'm not doing it. Fuck you, fuck everything. So Plaza and Clement attempt to have idle conversation. Plaza wants to talk about having a good time, but Clement is still a little bit worried about Aj, which annoys Plaza. Beverly Luff Linn and Matt Berry come in and walk by. Beverly is dressed like a priest now for some reason. Plaza finally turns to face Beverly Luff Linn, and the two stare at each other. Luff Linn in obvious shock at seeing her. As you may recall, they have a history based on she has the pictures with him in her underwear drawer. Plaza tries to steer the conversation back into Clement by asking him about his life story. This movie is 1 hour and 40 plus minutes long, and I'm not spending time explaining this stupid fucking story he tells at least twice. So yeah, blah, blah, blah. I love Jermaine Clement, but this writing is dumb and he deserves better. It comes up, like I said, he tells the same story twice, too. It's never funny. Clement is a loser. That's the joke you're supposed to get here. Like, he comes off, he played himself up to Aj as, like, I'm this tough drifter and I'll get your cash box back, but he's just a fucking loser. Plaza derides him and is clearly very bummed out by this. She starts staring at Beverly Luff Linn, so Clement drags her over and they decide to all sit together. We see from the interaction that Matt Berry is very protective of Beverly Luff Linn and probably in love with him, obviously. In some manner.
So we have a love square.
I wish it was that simple. So Matt Berry is very protective of Beverly Luff Linn. While he and Clement are talking for a little bit, describing the partnerships, Plaza lies and says that she and Clement are married, which sets Beverly Luff Linn off to grunting loudly in shock and anger. Remember, Isaac, Beverly Luff Linn only grunts.
Man.
Plaza and Beverly Luff Linn stare at one another with intense emotion while Barry and Clement make more background small talk. Plaza begins to silently cry as their hands get closer and almost touch. Eventually, Barry mocks Clement for having an ear hole with no earring in it, and this causes the whole table to get pissed off at Clement, including Plaza, who storms off, I guess, at her moment with Linn being ruined. Clement is obviously upset by this and sadder than ever. Upstairs, Beverly Luff Linn is clearly in physical discomfort as Matt Berry gently rubs his tummy while saying, "Let it out, let that devil out," until Beverly farts. Tee-hee, fucking he, how comical. I'm sure Isaac would find this very funny because Isaac loves farts. I believe he eats them, he said.
I honestly, seeing it, I would probably like it. Hearing you describe it, I don't like it.
I mean, it should be funny. Because it's Matt Berry rubbing a large man's stomach, saying, "Go on, let it out, let the big boy out," and then he farts like a little toot.
Okay, I'm fully.
It
on board
should
now.
be funny, but at this point, I'm so furious at the man only grunting that I can't. Oh boy! At home, Emil Hirsch, if you remember him, fucking shouldn't be in the movie anymore. But the director was like, "Well, I got Emil Hirsch on set for 3 more days. Better make sure and make use of him." Hirsch is angrily drinking and sobbing about Plaza being gone, sniffing her underwear in her drawer. He comes across the box of pictures. What am I, living in the city I live in? With Plaza and Luff Linn, and becomes incensed. The next day, enlisting the coffee goons to help him go after the cash box and Plaza upon seeing a Beverly Luff Linn poster in the coffee house. So Hirsch sees the poster and then finds the pictures and assumes she ran off to go be with Beverly. Which is kind of true. He turns into a random angry thing as he puts his forehead... Oh, yeah. He's, like, enlisting the goons to help. And then, so he's, like, telling the goon who's in severance, his name is Zach Cherry, I believe. He's, like, putting his forehead next to Cherry's, and he's like, "Immediately." And then Cherry's like, "Immediately, immediately, immediately." And it's just their foreheads touching. And they both say "immediately" like 9 times as the scene just keeps changing. Like, they're in the coffee shop, then they're in the car, then they're at home. That's funny. That's funny. Isaac, that's funny. I don't know why you're not laughing.
I'm very confused.
So that goon then heads to the hotel to investigate Beverly Luff Linn. He goes to the bar and ends up banging the bartender upstairs. And yeah, I don't know why I bothered explaining any of that to you because none of it matters in any way. While he bangs the bartender, he is screaming, "I love cold beer!"
What?
He does not have that accent, but he is screaming. Like the bartender, let me just explain the whole thing. The bartender, he gets there, he's like, "I need to find Beverly Luff Linn," and the guy I'm ignoring is like, sit at the bar. He sits at the bar, and there's like this bartender lady there, and she gets him a beer, he drinks the beer, then it hard cuts to them fucking upstairs, and he is screaming, "I love cold beer!" And then she's like, "I get you cold beer! I love cold beer!" And then he just goes downstairs and zips up his pants, and he sees Beverly Luff Linn, then he goes home, and he's like, "Hey, I saw Beverly Luff Linn."
What the hell?
You wanted to watch this movie. You thought you would like it.
The preview made it look fun.
It's not. Hey, Isaac, it's not.
I'm distressed.
There is one time that I had a good time. Well, 2, counting seeing Matt Berry, which always gives me a little chub.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your life.
Well, that too. I've probably had 2 or 3 good times. Maybe 4 if I really stretch. So yeah, fucking the goon sees Beverly Luff Linn. He's in a wheelchair now, being pushed around by Barry because of his farts, and he reports this back to Hirsch. Ajay comes in and yells at Hirsch again, and upon seeing the poster of Beverly Luff Linn, Ajay says that Luff Linn is dead, having drowned years ago, but he doesn't elaborate. So, mystery, question mark.
Zombie.
He's not, I swear, Isaac, I swear on my dog's life that there is nothing supernatural in this movie. That would be better. That would be better.
I'll wait.
At
wait
the
for my
hotel,
desserts.
the Beverly Luff Linn show has been delayed due to medical emergency, which in this case equals farting. This severely upsets Plaza, who demands Clement go check with Barry about it. It's wildly unfunny, as you may imagine. Plaza is totally distraught and wraps herself up in a blankie and only tells Clement she's upset but won't explain why. Clement gets fed up and leaves, shouting at her. She shouts right back, which demonstrates the budding but subtle romance between the two is being interfered upon by the presence of Beverly Luff Linn in the life of Aubrey Plaza, who clearly has some kind of distressing history with Beverly Luff Linn that is probably related to his apparent death. You may think that this is some sort of specter back from the grave, but that would be something that a hack does, not an expressive filmmaker like myself. Fuck. It's too Polleny for me to keep doing that voice, but I'm going to keep doing it. Beverly Luff Linn writes a note for Plaza to meet him at the pool at like 1 a.m. while Barry runs him a bath. The bathtub is huge and gaudy and features a large painting of a lounging cat above it. I hate the 70s. Because art and aesthetic, Isaac, you'll never understand the delicate genius. Please recall that at all times Beverly Luff Linn is grunting loudly and literally every time he's on screen. I want to kill myself. Isaac, we're not even halfway through the movie yet.
I'm so confused.
It's going to go a little quicker, the review part, because there's a lot of nothing. Barry finds the note that Beverly wrote to Plaza and is visibly upset. He takes a nap while having a human conversation with the grunting man in the tub. Out in the street, Clement spies some earrings he wants to give to Plaza. And I just realized now that never comes up again. What the fuck? It just occurred to me while I'm reading that sentence. He stops because he's angry that Plaza yelled at him, so he's walking around the street storming around like a little kid, and he sees these earrings, and then that genuine they were for himself. He bought himself those earrings. Okay, that makes sense.
Because of the ear.
Yeah. Okay. I get it now. Fuck.
So when Barry and Beverly are having a conversation, Beverly's only grunting, right?
Yes.
Is Barry hearing the grunts, and it seems like Beverly is communicating with Barry?
Yes, but it's not like a one-sided what did she say? I can't believe she said that. It's more of just he takes the grunts as affirmation. There's every now and then he seems to get more from the grunts that we wouldn't get, kind of like Han and Chewbacca, where Chewbacca's growling is technically a Star Wars language, for example.
Right.
It's not that. It kind of is sometimes. It's more of just he is able to tell by the grunts what the affirmation or that's a grunt for yes and a grunt for no, basically, kind of.
Okay. I could communicate a few things with grunts, so
yeah.
I guess that works.
Could you do a whole movie with one character grunting or not?
Yeah, it'd be easy. It'd be a piece of cake. It would probably win Sundance.
Well, I can assure you, it will not win Sundance, sir.
Oh, shit.
You'll present it, and you will win nothing. So Beverly Luff Linn, Barry's taking a nap, but Barry has found the note. So Beverly Luff Linn sneaks off with the note and has the bellhop pass it to Plaza, but Barry spies him leaving. Clement returns to the hotel room and starts yelling at Plaza about how fucked up the whole situation is, basically recapping the entire movie so far. Plaza is acting the same way she did at the beginning of the movie with Hirsch, because now, Isaac, she feels trapped in this relationship too. Isaac, do you get it? Do you get it, Isaac? Isaac, do you get
Relationships existed for what, 2 days?
Not even.
Jesus.
Clement then moans how now she hates him too because he yelled at her. She jumps on top of him and says they should go for a night on the town. So they get dressed up and go down to the lobby. Hirsch is there in his wig, again, not sure why, and accosts Plaza, demanding to know about Beverly Luff Linn and the pictures of the two of them. He tries to stop her from leaving, so she shouts for security. A gigantic man throws Hirsch out into the street and then kicks him in the stomach. Hirsch screams, "Who the fuck is Beverly Luff Linn?" And man, wait until that reveal, baby. I'm sure that'll be narratively satisfying. Plaza and Clement are out to dinner, and Clement shows off that he put his earring back in after getting yelled at a few scenes ago. That makes sense now. They get flirty, and Clement tells a childhood story about pooping his pants from eating his grandmother's candies or something. I stopped listening. Clement is, as always, a delight. And this is probably the funniest, gigantic air quotes, part of the movie, but it's about him pooping as a child. I saw, 3 other reviews from critics or people mention this part and how they found it delightful. Clement's a funny guy. He does a good job. I just find a story about a child's poops just not that interesting, personally. He does end. You'd like it. I hated it less than other parts, but I like
me some scatological humor.
Yeah, you would like this part. I don't think it's bad I just wasn't for me. However, he does end the story by saying, Grandma passed away some time ago. She was hit in the back of the head with a hammer. Okay, enough stories, and never explains it. That is funny.
Okay,
that
that's
is
good.
random and quirky, but also funny. These motherfuckers always forget that last part. That was a great line.
Speaking of poop, I think I mentioned recently that I hadn't pooped myself in quite a spell. Unfortunately, that streak has been broken.
Streak is
I
broken.
pooped myself about 5 days ago.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yep.
I guess. It's been a minute for me, since not actually a minute, but like it's been.
It
a
was
little
one
while.
of those. It was real heartbreaking. Like I was already in the bathroom,
Oh,
and then it started with like if I had 2 more seconds, I would have been in the clear.
that's rough. That's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some close calls before, but never in the bathroom. I've always made it.
It's like when you try to poison someone and like you just don't quite get enough of the dose in there.
It's funny you mentioned that because we're going to have that very shortly.
Oh Jesus!
Meanwhile, moving on, Clement admits that he has fallen for Plaza and asks if any part of her is attracted to any part of him. She doesn't give a straight answer, but basically says no. But he starts yelling at himself for putting her on the spot, and the scene just kind of ends, really, I guess. Hirsch and goons are interrogating some random quirky stranger about Beverly Luff Linn. But this scene also goes nowhere, as this character also has a coughing fit, like DJ Valerie whatever. So, yeah, just really a great 10 out of 10 movie. 2 characters with 20-plus second coughing fits.
I don't
I'm actually
understand
dying.
that.
Fuck, I hate this so much. It's affecting my diaphragm, and not the one of my pussy. Ah! I need you to vamp while I take a drink because I'm dying.
I wish I had a pussy for storage.
Yeah, it's like a kangaroo pouch, honestly.
Pretty much, yeah. Car keys, wallet, cell phone.
Okay. So at the hotel, the bellhop I am staunchly ignoring gives Plaza the letter to meet Beverly Luff Linn at the pool in the dead of night. She lies to Clement about it, and as the two are back in the same room, Clement undresses, I guess based on the context, he thinks they are going to fuck. I don't really understand what they were going for here. Plaza reads the letter from Beverly in the bathroom and is clearly very excited to go see him in the morning. Speaking of, he is in the in the tub again, and Barry puts on shitty disco. We see Barry preparing the two of them tea and drugging Beverly's tea with crushed up pills. So Clement tries to attract Plaza for sex very poorly, but she just kind of goes to bed and the two of them go to sleep. They're in separate beds, by the way. I didn't mention that earlier, but they are not sleeping together. I don't think they're having... Well, no, they are not having sex. They are sleeping in separate beds. Them having sex is a whole thing. In the dead of night, Plaza slips out to the pool to meet with Beverly Luff Linn, but finds Matt Barry instead, who is now wearing the pink swim cap and the pink old-timey swimsuit, who
That's
tells
awkward.
her to back off to keep away from Beverly. And for some reason, he's wearing full women's makeup in the pool because
What?
I have actually no idea. I have no idea.
Quirk. Quirk?
Whatever. Okay. Fucking, he tells her the show is over and Beverly won't meet her, and the music swells so fucking loud I can feel the floor vibrating. Plaza angrily storms back to bed and I guess accidentally, I don't know, gets into bed with Clement, who was surprised the next morning. She keeps saying, oh no, God, and he keeps saying, no, it's fine. It's not, it's weird, but it's not, he's not like groping her or anything. She claims she got in the wrong bed and says she has her period, telling him to go get heavy flow tampons from the pharmacy. What am I supposed to do with that?
Oh, you go get the heavy flow tampons from the pharmacy.
What is this view of relationships I'm so desperately supposed to get out of this drivel? Plaza writes Beverly Luff Linn a letter and pays the bellhop to make sure it doesn't get delivered to Barry instead. In the lobby, she runs into an angry older woman who calls her a skinny little pig.
What? That's a weird insult.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it. In the restaurant, Barry and Beverly Luff Linn have what can be considered an argument between an articulate man and a man who only grunts.
Yeah.
The manager comes down to politely but firmly tell them the show has to go on soon since the hotel has many guests that came here just to see the show. The manager has one hair curler worth of curled hair. Isn't that funny, Isaac? Isn't that funny? Isn't that such an interesting and quirky and funny character trait, Isaac? Don't you love it? Isn't it funny? He has one hair curler worth of curled hair. Isn't that funny? Doesn't that make him interesting?
Curl?
Doesn't that
where
make
everything
him
else is
interesting?
bald?
You shut up. He's interesting. Hey, are you listening? Isaac, you
What?
listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
He's interesting. Do you get it?
No.
No, well, I don't understand how else I can explain how interesting he is with his one curl of hair.
Is there a
That's
bow?
not a fucking character trait. That's laziness. Try harder. You are not Wes Anderson. You couldn't suck his dick for money.
God, and you hate Wes Anderson so
I'm
much.
having a day and a half, and it's only 11. So, wow, boy. I need a cigarette. It's not even... We're like halfway through the movie, man. Anyway, he gives Beverly the letter, which is supposed to be private, but oops, he did it in front of Matt Berry. Tee-hee-hee, that's funny. Look, she told him not to, and he did it anyway. Beverly Luff Linn tries to read it without Barry seeing. Plaza angrily writes that she's pissed Barry was there in the pool instead of Bev, and upon reading the letter, Bev is clearly upset. He uses an old-timey exercise tool in the gym angrily while Barry swipes the letter from him. Like, I'm sure this is a thing that actually exists, but it's very strange. I'm going to call it a hip thrusting machine, which is not what it is. It's like, do you ever see one of those old swing sets, like for kids, where you would stand on it and like the bottom would move, but the top was sort of more gyroscopically stable? It's really hard to describe visually, but like, so like your arms are moving the bottom, but your legs are still like on the platform. So that your arms are moving the platform. It's like your lower head. It's kind of like exercising like, I guess the stomach. I kind of want one, honestly. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It looks.
I'm not picturing it very well. But
I don't know what it's called, but well, anyway, whatever. But clearly it was chosen for a reason. The music is intense, huge air quotes here, as we keep cutting to Bev using his weird standing hip thrust machine, and it cuts to everyone else who is having very intense days. Barry confronts Plaza about the letter, yelling at her and Clement in the lobby to back off of his man, basically. Plaza then yells at Clement and storms off because that's just the dynamic of their relationship. He goes to the parking lot and gives Beverly the finger through a window. It's a big, messy love square, and I just hate all of it. And speaking of, it's not a square because fucking Emil Hirsch is still in this movie for some reason because he's there in the parking lot in his wig.
It's the Illuminati, the government.
Yeah,
the military-industrial complex.
I wish it was that easy. So Clement sees Hirsch and the goons and runs to tell Plaza. Plaza has been crying and is clearly upset. She asks Clement for a massage again, and Clement tells her he flipped Bev off earlier. She starts yelling at him for causing trouble and leaves, which causes Clement to freak out at himself again, screaming how she'll never like him. She then immediately returns and asks if he wants to come with, thanking him for the tampons. The whiplash in this movie. I could sue. So back in the Luff Linn room, Bev sits down with upset tummy again. So Barry holds incense to Bev's nose and rubs his belly while they both grunt rhythmically in a very sexual manner until Bev farts a few times. It's like, ooh, ooh.
I don't know how to feel, Larry. I'm very confused.
Deeply upset.
It sounds kind of funny.
I mean, it is a little bit.
This sounds like, again, a lot of these movies end up being, this could have been a great 5-minute sketch. A character who only grunts and like some of the weird belly and fart stuff.
No, incorrect. They delay the show once more, which once again summons the manager with his one funny hair curl, who sternly but politely tells Barry that this is the last delay. Why was this necessary? Why was this whole plot point a thing you needed to add to your fucking hacky movie that I hate so goddamn much? God, just a waste of time. Barry then goes into the room of the woman who called Plaza the fat little pig before. Apparently, this woman, I believe, she's actually played by an actress of note, come to think of it. She doesn't get a name in the plot. I think she's called the graceful, or the elegant woman. It's Maria Bamford. Which, that's a name. Oh. That's a name I know, but I couldn't place her.
She's famous for a comedy, I think, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, and she's in a lot of things. I think she was in Stuart Little. No, she was just a side character in Stuart Little. She's been around. She's in a lot of things. A lot of things. Good Lord, holy shit, she's in a lot of things. Wait, she's in Big Mouth. Oh, she's Tito the Anxiety Mosquito in Big Mouth. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not really familiar with her a whole lot. I guess I am somewhat, but she's just called the elegant woman in this, or the graceful. Yeah, it's the elegant woman. Apparently she was Beverly Luff's Lynn's. Beverly Luff. Fucking god damn me and the filmmaker. Apparently She was Beverly Luff. I almost did it again. Beverly Luff Lynn's wife in the past. And there's a scene here that doesn't really go anywhere, but this is, it's a short scene, and this movie's so long, so I'm not going to bother too much. She used to be married to Beverly Luff Linn, and apparently Plaza ruined that somehow.
Okay.
Upstairs, Beverly Luff Linn starts genuinely just honking grunts as he sees her in the parking lot, and he looks afraid and ashamed of himself as she drives off. That character is never mentioned in any way again, ever.
Larry.
We get another scene with Ajay and Hirsch where Ajay demands his money back, having a weird goon who is dressed vaguely like an S&M cab driver politely ask Hirsch to go into the back room with him and then punches him in the nose off screen. I hate this movie so much, Isaac. I hate it. I really am just furious. At the hotel, a crowd is pissed off yet again. The event was postponed. At the bar, Plaza and Clement are grousing about the show. Plaza leaves and goes back to the room, suddenly angry again that Clement is concerned about her blood sugar, flipping out that she left her husband 2 days ago and she's desperate to see the show that keeps getting delayed, and Barry just yelled at her and told her to keep the fuck away from Beverly. So she leaves Clement there to once again wallow in his puppy dog sadness. He tells the bartender about Plaza being on her period like cool guys do. While he is miserable, a woman at the other side of the bar starts talking and flirting with him. Plaza, meanwhile, has begun swimming laps and is approached by a loudly grunting Beverly Luff Linn. I really fucked up my hand pounding this desk. It really hurts.
You were hitting it hard.
I really was mad. I still am. She's approached by a loudly grunting Beverly Luff Linn, who, again, I must point out, Isaac, Beverly Luff Linn does not speak. He only grunts.
Only grunts.
In case you've forgotten. The two say nothing and instead just glare and grunt at one another. Meanwhile, Clement is telling that fucking boring story I ignored earlier to the woman at the bar, and then the two fuck in a gigantic dryer in the laundromat. Like, he bends her over into the dryer, basically. So kind of like those videos that are very popular now.
So Jermaine fucks the bartender.
This is not the bartender. This is a woman who's at the bar.
Oh, okay.
Upon climax, Clement describes it as beautiful, while the woman then plies him for money, revealing herself as a prostitute. We then hard cut to the hotel room where Clement is describing the encounter guiltily to Plaza, who is decidedly upset about it, rolling over and turning the lights off following his description. And Clement, again, it's really hard to turn off his charm. I thought this scene was funny because he was like, it has the woman who is asking him for money, and then it hard cuts to him talking to Plaza, and he is like, well, usually she asks for 50, but she said, well, what we had done technically gone all the way constituted 80, but I sort of was able to reason her down to 37, which it's a funny bit. And Clement, the delivery is good. Yeah. And I'm like, why can't I have a whole movie where this guy is being this good? Like, why do I have to get it in snippets? He's excellent. No. Don't ruin him with your ham-fisted shitty plot. So yeah, Plaza's upset about this. Clement then mentions he was a virgin prior to this, which I guess means something. I don't know what, but it means something, I'm sure.
Movies talking about tampons and periods and virgins. I don't like it. Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
It's, Isaac, it's a telling view. What did I say earlier? It's like looking for the... I can't even do the voice anymore. I don't care. We get a Barry and Bev scene here as they prepare for the show later that night. In the morning, Clement asks Plaza if she's mad he slept with a prostitute. She brushes that aside, totally focused on what to wear to the Luff Linn show that night. Clement then starts screaming that he fell into a pond and is trapped under the ice, begging to know by literally screaming at the top of his lungs who is Beverly Luff Linn over and over. Plaza suddenly launches into it. He was a poet and her professor. They were a couple and passionately in love, her words. They went to an exotic island and had a good time holding hands and singing to the birds. Funny little birds with flat heads. So much quirk that I want to be drawn and quartered in front of my loved ones.
Who sings to the birds?
That's what quirky people in movies do, Isaac. That is what real love is, you fucking drip of a human being. On the last day, the two of them go swimming at a cove, and Bev swam out too far and drowned. He swam down and drowned and never resurfacing, and she couldn't save or find him. Apparently, one of their friends was told her, like, oh my God, he's dead, blah, blah, blah. So she was heartbroken, and yeah, I'm cutting out the quirky parts of the story because fuck you, I don't care. She says she never told anyone but Ajay that story before. Clement says he's never been in love until he met her, even though it's not mutual love. He asks if she's still in love with Beverly, but once again, she avoids the question. There's an unfunny scene here of quirky event coordination with Barry and a small nebbish man from the hotel that, once again, I'm choosing to ignore because there's enough going on in this fucking movie as is for the little side quirky character plots that don't matter. Barry is clearly conflicted. He goes to talk to Beverly, who is doing some kind of yoga pose. Barry admits that he's deeply in love with Beverly Luff Linn and has been for a while, and that Beverly is his dream man, which was pretty obvious before. Meanwhile, Clement and Plaza are still arguing about the event as she is very manic about everything. And Isaac, there's so much quirk about this fucking movie. It's so tiresome. It's just so tiresome. It's constant. I'm so tired. It's an hour and 40 minutes. This took me 4 hours to do. I didn't take any breaks.
Jesus.
I woke up. I took the dog out, I made coffee, I sat down and started reviewing it, and then I didn't stop until 4 hours had passed. It was time for another meal when I was done. It just takes so long. These two argue, and it just goes on. Apparently it's Plaza's birthday. Meanwhile, Abil,
I think the Bowels of Movie Night should pay for you to get therapy for these movies.
At this point, I kind of need it after this. I'm just, it's just so bad. Meanwhile, Emil Hirsch and his goons are outside and planning some kind of disruption. Finally, the magical evening with Beverly Luff Linn is here. All our characters gather for the show as it finally begins. Isaac, I know I do this bit a lot, where I ask you something about the movie and what you think it is. I need you to make a legitimate, genuine guess. Not a fuck around and don't say, live sex show. Like a legitimate guess as to what you genuinely think after hearing me describe this movie to you, what the magical evening with Beverly Luff Linn might be. The manager hypes it up with a life-changing event and what you think it might be.
So my gut feeling is just him grunting on stage. But
I don't think I would have done the review if it was just that. I think I would have just said you need to pick a different movie because I refuse to talk about this.
I'm assuming some kind of interpretive dance.
That's pretty close.
Okay.
It's pretty close.
Not shooting ping pong balls out of his vagina?
He doesn't have a vagina, I don't think.
Do you know?
I said I don't think.
Have you been downstairs?
I have not.
All right.
If Matt Berry wants to let me downstairs, I don't even care what the equipment is. I'm just happy to be there. Matt Berry and Beverly Luff Linn come out dressed in traditional Scottish Highland clothes.
It's just a food processor down there.
I'm okay with that. A group of blonde children come out on stage to join them as the focus is on Beverly Luff Linn with a staff of some sort. Eventually, Barry and Bev sit down and the children leave, and they begin to sing Scottish Highland songs. That's it. That's the show.
So wait, Beverly doesn't sing?
Beverly does sing.
Actually sings?
He sings with human words.
What?
They sing Scottish Highland songs while Barry plays a lute and a synthesizer and Bev plays a woodblock. He sings English words now. Isaac, isn't that so good? Doesn't it make you think so hard about how brilliant and how poignant I, the filmmaker, am? Don't you think that I am a fucking genius, Isaac? Isn't that so good? Don't you love it? Don't you love it? Don't you love it?
So confused.
Do you love it? Do you? What?
No.
Why not? You know what? You must not get it. This is your fault.
I'm not a genius, so I guess this is above my pay grade.
Because Beverly, he does speak now. He still does throw the occasional grunt in there, but he does speak. And at one point, he is like, I glossed over it before because I didn't think it was a fucking point of that would come up again. But they talk. Matt Berry at one point mentions how like he meets Beverly Luff Linn while they're like in Aberdeen, Scotland, doing something. He's like, I don't know, it's some quirky horse shit that I didn't care about. So like, and Beverly is telling this story about how when he was on like the Misty Shire of Aberdeen, and like this song changed his life. And they sing a song that was like, the chorus is like, I wish that I had never been a football referee, the football referee. Like, and it's fine. I mean, it's the music's fine. I like little Scottish ditties. Like, it's cute, and their voices are, Matt Berry's voice is angelic, and Craig Robinson's voice is fine. Like, they're good. It's I don't have a problem with it. How do you make the whole movie about this? And I guess it's not. That's obviously the movie's not about this. But like, when it's been this event that's been hyped up so much, when you just make it this much of a wet fart just for oh, your expectations have been subverted because you thought it would be something transcendent, but him's just singing Scottish Highland songs. This movie is nothing wrapped in nothing, pretending to be something by being nothing very, very hard and very, very deliberately.
So much genius.
Like I said, Matt Berry, amazing singer, sounds good. Craig Robinson's fine. They don't mean anything. I don't know why it's happening. And Plaza is clearly having a moment which Bev catches on and is unable to ignore her any longer. Which, by the way, after the first song, he gets a standing ovation and tells them all to sit down. Because I'm just waving my arms around like that means something, but it doesn't. It means about as much as this movie does. So after the second song, he finally admits, this is Beverly, that his real name is Edmund Summers. And I guess the climax of the film, I think, happens here. As we finally learn who Beverly Luff Linn is after having multiple characters screaming who is Beverly Luff Linn. He admits that he once loved a woman but lost that relationship, clearly Plaza. He also tells Barry that while Barry is his best friend, he is not in love with him, saying he left his love with someone else, Plaza, but doesn't know if she'll ever love him back again. He then starts to play her a song on the fife, which is like a baby flute, basically.
Yeah, I don't. Tampons, periods, virgins, and fifes. Get them out of your movies.
Oh my, tampons, periods, virgins, oh my.
Larry just spit up a little bit of his soul. One of the last dregs.
I don't want to get gross, but I genuinely did. There was a little blood in that. So Hirsch, who was in the back of the... Also, sorry for eating the mic earlier, but I was really in a hate-filled moment there, and I really needed to get it out.
We support you, Larry, in all of your rage.
Hirsch, who is in the back of the theater, interrupts to say that Plaza is his wife, bringing out a cake for Plaza as it is her birthday. Barry, in like his one good delivered line, in a very Matt Berry line, he's like, all right, well, I'm tired of this shit. We're doing a show here. Like, I can't... I know I keep going on. I can't describe how good Matt Berry is and how disappointing it is, how like stunted his deliveries are forced to be in this movie. But there's one good line. I was like, well, I've had enough of this shit. Like I can hear it coming out of Stephen Toast's mouth. It's so good. So he goes and blows out the candle, and then Hirsch and Barry start to fight. And then everybody starts to very lamely fight each other. Just like, it's not even worth describing. Until Bev just kind of gets up and leaves, and Plaza goes after him. And they finally have it out. Bev admits that he gets so anxious before shows, it causes him to grunt instead of speak. He admits
Larry?
that when he gets on stage, he doesn't know what he's saying. And he also admits he doesn't know if he believes what he said on stage or even know who he really is. I'm containing a lot of pent-up irritation. I know. But just going to keep it in so we can talk about this at the end. Plaza demands to know why he left her alone. He says that once he got far enough out to sea, he knew it was time and had to keep swimming. He says he swam around a corner and hid behind a rock and convinced that mutual friend to tell Plaza that he was dead. Clement comes upon this scene and overhears Bev telling her he abandoned her but still loves her anyway. Clement lays into Bev, telling him, rightly in my opinion, that it was an asshole thing to do and he can't fathom why, considering Plaza is the woman he's in love with. She is still so hung up over Beverly, considering he abandoned her without a word and faked his death, now only to lamely tell her, hey, sorry I left, but I had to, but I don't know if I really mean that, but I get tummy farts sometimes about it. So, I, in theory, like this plot point, technically. I like the idea of exploring the fact of Plaza is very hung up on Beverly Luff Linn because they were very much in love, and he abandoned her, and then she thought he was dead and he is alive, and she is trying to figure out what happened. And that he is then saying, I had to leave. I didn't know what to do. I mean, that part is very poorly put out there as to why, which I get. Yeah. We're trying to say, we don't know. Sometimes in a relationship, things just change, which is true. I think that's a good point. I don't think we need to know that. I think if you want to do, I'm going to call it artsy-fartsy, even though I think this is fine. I think this is an okay plot point, and I think it is an artsy-fartsy thing to do it this way, and which, okay, sure, where you just we don't know, we don't, Clement, or, Beverly is just like, I just had to leave. I didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. And then Clement's saying, well, that's shitty. Like, why would you do that? And, she's fantastic, and you left her, and now you get to say, oh, I was on stage, and I didn't, I don't know if I even believed what I said on stage about still loving you. And like, yeah, it's real shitty. It's real shitty. It's a great, like that's, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Really takes away the impact when this man spent the entire movie grunting. And also, like, the shit with Emil Hirsch, which didn't need to be, and all this other shit. And like, oh, look at the bellhop. He's so quirky. Oh, the manager has one curler in his hair. Oh, we're going to just dance around everything and just, like, not really get to it until this last bit, which is good, but, like, it doesn't matter how good it was when everything else was so bad.
Yeah, you're not invested in the characters emotionally at all.
It does, like, when we got to this point, I realized what they were going for. Like, I get it. Plaza was in this marriage with her. First of all, I know I'm kind of cutting to my sort of yell about this at the end thing. I don't know why Emil Hirsch was in this movie. I don't understand the Emil Hirsch plot. Like, you need someone to show that Plaza is in a dead-end loveless marriage. That guy didn't need to be a character in the movie anymore. Like, once she runs off with Clement, that part is done. And the fact that fucking Emil Hirsch has, like, nothing to do basically after that point shows the fact he did not need to be in this movie. The movie is not about him at all. And again, his acting is fine. I don't have a problem with it. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. But that whole just muddies everything, for the first of all, because he is not a factor in Plaza's life the second she walks out that door in any way, except that he, like, bothers her and she has security kick him out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to show this, like, she's still hung up on Beverly, but she, like, has this sort of weird growing relationship with Clement, and it's tumultuous because it's a tumultuous situation. I get that too. She's the man she was in love with, she thought was dead, is alive. It's just like getting to this point, which is a good point. I really do like that scene. I mean, I don't understand why Craig Robinson is fucking grunting the whole movie. That's so exceptionally stupid. But like, this didn't feel earned. You have to earn this, and they didn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah, like...
It is a poignant point on relationships. I do genuinely think that. When they get to this point, I think, like, yeah, it is looking, these three characters poor Matt Berry doesn't really, I hate to say, he doesn't really belong in this either, because, like, him being in love with Beverly Luff Linn doesn't go anywhere. Like, he's just there to drag the plot a little longer with, like, Plaza
to make
can't
things
need
more
him.
Complicated for Plaza.
It would be better if it was just Plaza, Clement, and Robinson in that case. Like, you don't need Matt Berry in there. God, I hate to say that. Oh, Matt, I'm sorry. You don't need him in there for this. Like,
you could have him and not have it be a love story, and even like
right, just have him be a quirky guy.
Play a foil to Plaza, but not related to love. Just like get away from my talent kind of thing.
Yeah, that would work too. That would be fine.
But yeah, just like you can have a good ending, but it doesn't mean much when the beginning and the middle are a wet fart.
And like, I get what they were trying to go with, and it does help that Plaza and Clement are great actors and actors respectively. A great actress and actor respectively. They, like, I get how they were going for it, and like Plaza does a good job at like being distressed and hiding her emotions about it. But again, the problem is, like, this just doesn't feel earned. Like this, I don't know. It's like really hard to describe my feelings for it, because I think it is a very poignant thought, and I get what they were going for, but it isn't earned. Like, that's really the best thing I can say about it. They just didn't get this. It's wrapped up in too much shit to earn this. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what
it's
you
complicated. Mean. It really is. So anyway, Bev and Plaza share one last song they had together while holding hands, and Plaza cries. Bev asks if you know what it's like to feel like you don't belong somewhere before disappearing into his room. We have a lot to talk about at the end of the review too, but we'll get to that. Plaza tries to talk to Bev more, but he just shuts the door and doesn't answer. Clement runs off, as this is clearly a mess of emotions for all involved, and goes back to the bar to sadly drink. Eventually, Plaza comes to join him and orders drinks of her own, as Clement is sort of terse and detached. He tells her that he is leaving in the morning and not telling her where he's going. She tells him that Beverly was her first love. Clement says you can have other loves. A song comes on that Plaza says she loves and forces a reluctant Clement to dance. It's a fine song, I guess, for like a 70s synth disco pop mix song, I think. The dancing is fine, and again, by the, I don't know what that word, the int? I wrote IINT of this movie. I don't get it. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Gorilla fingers.
But I see what they're going for here a little bit, just a tiny bit. They dance very quirkily, but they're such good actors that this part works. The song is Words Don't Come Easy to Me. And Isaac, do you get it? In the unspoken relationship between them, words don't come easy to Plaza for talk about. Isaac, do you fucking get it?
I think I get it.
Eventually, the song ends and Plaza jumps into Clement's arms and starts kissing him. They go back up to the room and it looks like sex is finally on the menu. Plaza says every girl needs a Clement. She uses his character's name, of course. In the bathroom, Clement hypes himself up for fuck, but when he gets back out there, Plaza is fast asleep. He covers her up gently and gets into his own bed, turning off the lights. In the darkness, Plaza tells him that she loves him. He turns the lights on and asks her what she said, and upon affirming it, he tells her he loves her too. And the movie ends.
What?
Except no, there's a post-credits scene, kind of Barry and Bev in the car leaving the hotel. Barry is glad to be leaving, but Bev appears to be asleep. Barry keeps poking Bev and saying, Bev, nibbles. Bev, nibbles. Which, I hate that, but I love Matt Berry too much. I can't, when it's him doing it, I can't. God damn it. It's bad, but I can't do it. It's like I gotta turn the gun away. I can't do it. Indicating the burrito he bought Beverly. Bev appears to have died, so Barry starts shouting for help in the parking lot, saying, "We've got a death in here. This is a death scene." Exact quote. Before Bev shoots awake, Barry says they all thought he died, and Bev then grunts loudly and the two start laughing. Then the movie ends as they drive off.
What? What is this?
Motherfuck.
Explain yourself.
Let's have it out. Here's the big selling point for me. This movie feels like all of the creators of every Adult Swim show combined got together in a smoky back room and said, let's put all our chips into one pile. We are going to ape Wes Anderson. And they fucking totally botched it. Like, it feels like an Adult Swim version of a Wes Anderson movie. I don't like most Adult Swim shows that feature real people. Have you ever seen any of them? I know, again, Henry, not McElroy. Henry, what's Henry's last name? Zabrowski. Is in that show. The fucking devil went down a
Pretty Faces Going to Hell.
Thank you. Like, I know that's probably good because I like him, but I mean, just like, it's that sort of random, who are the two? Tim and Eric. If you're not familiar.
Yeah,
have a bunch of fucking Adult Swim shit that is just random humor with literally no theme together that people think is brilliant and I think is utter trash.
They have winners and losers.
You're incorrect. You're fundamentally incorrect, and I won't have it. But like, that is what this movie feels like. And this guy did go on to do an Adult Swim show, so clearly I'm onto something. Like, it just feels like they watched a bunch of Wes Anderson movies and were like, oh, I can do that. But they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because they try to do, like, the quirky Wes Anderson-y energy and fuck it up. Because, and I figured out why. It hit me like a lightning bolt yesterday. This movie is random on purpose. It's like, let's think of something random and then write it in stone into the script.
I like random, but
I hate it. But that is just, it seems so glaringly obvious to me that was like it maybe not if what happened, that was the intention of like, oh, that'll be random and funny, write that down. Like, that's not what that humor really should be, I don't think. But that is the, like, energy that comes off of this. Like, and again, I do think the central, like, I guess we can call it a love triangle between Clement and Plaza and Bev. It wraps up in a satisfying way, but I don't feel good about it because I had to watch the movie to get to that point. Like, a better movie would have been a lot better, technically, which that's kind of a lame note, but I don't know what else to say about that other than that. Like, you could have earned that. You could have made that feel like an actual emotional gut punch, which is what they were going for. But it doesn't work because I watched the man fucking grunt and scream in a pool for no reason, and just Clement talking about his poops like that was a fucking... I don't know. Like, there's all these weird side characters that don't add anything, and the pace was all over the place, and there's like these... Matt Berry's character just doesn't matter, but he's like integral to the plot of Beverly, and Hearst just has no place in this movie after 20 minutes, but he's still there in like every other scene for some reason. I just don't get it.
I'm confused how Clement and Plaza have a happily ever after. because there never seemed to be much of a relationship develop.
Well, Isaac, isn't that what relationships are?
You are a genius, Mr. Filmmaker. Yes, you're correct. I'm wrong and stupid.
And again, I see what they were going for. Nope. If you let the actors be themselves, maybe that might have come through more. But just like, it's like the idea that Clement was a third choice. You know, something, I love Lord of the Rings. At the end of Lord of the Rings, I don't remember if it's in the movie. I genuinely don't. But in the book, in The Return of the King, and sorry if I'm getting a little too nerdy for people. I mean, I do that all the time, but at least it's not about wrestling this time. Éowyn, who is the daughter of Theoden King of Rohan, which is the horse people. I'll dumb it down, the horse people. She is the one who has the I am no man, because there's the ring wraith,
right.
the Witch King of Angmar, who says no man can kill me because Mary tries to kill him. And she says, I am no man, and she is able to kill him because that's the twist. Oh, she's a woman, and women aren't supposed to fight. This is the 30s. Women, they stay home, and that was the time, and I think Tolkien did a good job there. But there's a whole plot, and it is touched on more in the movie, I know, where Éowyn falls in love with Aragorn, and he is like, bitch, I got an elf at home. I don't need you. And then she ends up with Faramir, who is the son of Denethor, who is the one who finds Frodo and Sam and Gollum in the middle of Mordor, basically. And because they end up like in hospital beds next to each other. And then it's like, well, she got a prince anyway. That is the sort of like, she's settled. She's like, well, I can't get Aragorn. I'll get this other prince who spends the entire book and movie just being basically like, well, you sure aren't your much better brother who died. Like, you sure do suck. So, I know, I'm sorry this is so nerdy, but, like, that's just the energy of, like, Clement is the, okay, I'll settle. And it feels more like, well, I don't think she loves him. I think it feels like she's out of men. Like, which I don't,
I guess, but
I'm
like,
I'm not trying to make any kind of statement about anything. That's just the feeling. It's like the relationship between Plaza and Clement in this movie is just sort of like, well, he hung out, so, okay.
Yeah, and I feel like exploring the idea of settling in a relationship is worthwhile from a storytelling perspective.
Yes.
But not here, because they've been in a relationship for 2 days.
They're not even, they weren't
sense.
in a relationship.
Yeah, they're just in a weird crime caper.
And they're not shown developing a relationship in any way. Like, Clement very quickly falls for her because he's a man and she's a woman and they're in a movie. And that's fucking how movies work.
And he's a virgin, apparently.
And a virgin.
Stupid.
And, like, but she is very clearly just using him. Not like, she just is using him because she's trying to, and that's understandable. If I had a love who died and I was like, holy shit, what is going on here? Like, yeah, obviously that's going to be her focus. But then, like, right at the end, when Clement points out, like, hey, you're kind of an asshole. And she still doesn't say, like, yeah, Bev, you are an asshole. She's, like, busted up that he's leaving her again. And he basically says, like, well, I think I love you, but also, who knows, man? I don't know what I say on stage. So, like, then her being like, yeah, Clement, you hung out, so sure, I'll be in love with you. It feels very, and I think you're right, that there is something to be said about settling in a that feels like the wrong word, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to mean it as in, like, oh, well, I couldn't be with my high school boyfriend, so I settled for dick. Not penis, like Richard. I guess I shouldn't have used the word name dick. I don't know why I did that.
You just have dicks on the brain.
I settled for John. Like, I don't want to necessarily put that energy into the universe, but like...
No, yeah, but just... And I think some people have, like, this ideal Prince Charming, man and woman alike, have this ideal, especially when they're single,
and young,
of, like, what the perfect relationship's going to be, and that doesn't exist.
Right.
So, in a sense, every relationship is settling, if you look at it from that perspective.
Right.
And settling's not the best word for it.
No,
but that's what's usually used.
That feels like a friend zone-y sort of word. Like, I don't want to... That's not the kind of energy we're trying to put out there. Just like that is the sort of the technical term for what's happening here. But it's like this movie does such a poor job of, in my opinion, of showing that Plaza has any feelings for Clement whatsoever, other than the fact that he literally hung around until she had nobody else. Like, it doesn't feel like she actually loves him. It just feels like she loves him for hanging out with her, even though all they do is fight. And I know that's the
Hanging
thing
out
people
for
don't
2
like.
days.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Doesn't earn anything.
It's stupid, and that's the thing. Like it hits harder because I get what they were going for, and it's like, yeah, okay, that could be great, but no, not this, not this.
Yeah, and the trailer played it up like it was going to be a quirky horror movie. That's the
Really?
feeling I had
Interesting.
when I saw the trailer.
Yeah, no, there is genuinely nothing supernatural about it at all.
That's really weird. Yeah, and I don't think I would like it, even though
No.
I like the quirk.
You really would, because it's not good. Like,
Yeah.
I bitch and moan about Wes Anderson every chance I get, but like, I get it. It's just not for me. I get that it's good. Like, this is not that. This is someone's very poor attempt to do that, and they were like did a bad job. God. As much as I want to give this movie a 0, because I really was very upset, I can't. The cast is too good. It would be a disservice to them to give them a 0, because in my mind, Plaza Clement and Barry can literally do no wrong unless they're committing crimes. Like, they're just, the three of them are just too good. And Craig Robinson, I guess I'm not in love with The Office like the rest of America is, so I'm kind of lukewarm on him. I love the Pontiac Bandit, was great. He's great. I don't love him as much as the other three, but great. He does a great job here, except for the grunting. Why was that a plot point for him? I don't understand. Like I said, on top of the cast, I will say that I liked the overarching theme, like we just yammered about for 20 minutes, but it really only comes out in the last 10 minutes when Clement is angrily calling out Beverly for abandoning Plaza like he did and getting off easy about it. And I think there's something to do there, which would have been much better and explored in a different movie. I'm losing my words now. Like, I can't give this a 0 because the cast is too good. My instinct is to give it a 2, but I fucking can't. I can't. And this is not just a case of, oh, Larry doesn't like quirky stuff, Wes Anderson's bad, No, this movie it's nothing pretending to be something by being nothing. Like, it's awful. 1 out of 10. It's awful.
Yep, that's disappointing. I was hoping you wouldn't like it, but it would be the kind of thing... I was hoping and almost expecting you to give it like a 3 out of 10, and then I would watch it and think it was a 6 or a 7 out of 10, but I don't at all think that's the case. I'd probably rate it better than you, but from what you described, I couldn't picture giving it more than a 2 or a 3.
I almost want you to watch it.
I might, because the trailer really drew me in.
That's the trick. And yeah, I know I was probably a lot harsher on the quirky. I mean, it has, generally across the board from everybody, it's about a 50%, so 5 out of 10. Like, it seems like that's where it evened out. I was probably harsher on the quirky shit than a lot of people, and certainly you would be. Again, the fucking, the hotel manager, he's just a normal guy, except he's got one hair curler worth of hair curl. That just infuriates me, because I know the fucking, guy who thought of that thinks he's the most brilliant man who ever lived. And I fucking hate it. It's nothing. That is nothing. Do something. That's nothing. But, so I'm certainly harder on that, but it really is just so bad, man.
Well, at least you've excised that turd.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh,
God. Boy.
Fuck.
So, next week, I'm covering a little film called Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Oh,
which
God. Back to reality.
I didn't know there was a sequel, and I'm really sad for the world.
You should be.
Yeah, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen. But after that, I'm going to give you a choice between 2 movies. I'm not going to tell you the movies, but I'm going to tell you the directors. And both of them...
Fuck.
I think generally you hate.
Oh, good.
But can acknowledge that they have done good work.
Oh, okay. Is one of them Wes Anderson?
One of them is Wes Anderson.
I can't. Let me stop you right now. I cannot do this movie followed by a Wes Anderson movie. I am incapable. If you are giving me a choice, I don't care what the other choice is. I will take the other choice.
Then you're watching Jay and Silent Bob Reboot from Kevin Smith.
Son of a bitch! Son of a bitch!
Oh, boy.
God damn it!
I loved me some early Kevin Smith, but Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back from 2001 was where it started teetering off the edge of the cliff, and it never really regained anything after that.
I'm sorry, what year was that movie?
2001.
Okay, this one's 2019. So yeah, I'm sure the 18 years between have really helped.
Yep. Yeah, and the films he's released, and we covered one of them, or just one, or did we do two of them? I know we did Tusk.
No, we did. You did Tusk and the Bratzi.
Oh, and the Yoga Hosers.
Did we do another one?
I don't think there's a third one planned that might have been
Moose
made
Jaws,
already.
yeah, but that's not made yet. But we've hit the point now where we've done so many episodes, I don't remember some of them anymore.
But you haven't covered a Kevin Smith movie.
I feel like I have though, or did I just bitch about him in your movies enough?
No, that's just it.
Okay. Did I tell you that pink belly thing with him? I don't know why. For some reason, whenever I think of pink bellies, I think of Kevin Smith. I don't really know why. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. The stoner icons. Yeah, great. I'm the perfect one for that vehicle. The
Clerks was great.
Unpopular opinion, I love Clerks 2.
Yes,
which
Clerks
is definitely not a good movie. I think Clerks 1 is an argument for being a good movie. Clerks 2 is not a good movie. I love it. I don't know why.
That came out after Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think that was 2004 or something.
Yeah. That was a little later.
I'll give it credit. That was, not a great movie.
No,
but
none of them are great.
5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
fun.
The stoner icons who first hit the screen 25 years ago in Clerks are back. When Jay and Silent Bob discover that Hollywood is rebooting an old movie based on them, it's self-aware.
Meta.
It's game on as the clueless duo embark on another cross-country mission to stop the madness all over again. With all-star cameos from Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Chris Hemsworth, Rosario Dawson, Melissa Benoist, I don't know who that is, Joe Magni, I can say his name, Joe Manganiello, and more. Oh, Craig Robinson, again. Yes, he's in the trailer. Fucking, okay. Great.
Yep. You had an escape route.
Listen, man. Listen to me. I cannot do an Eating with Beverly, Luff, Linn. If you're giving me a choice, I can't do Wes Anderson right after. I can't.
We'll be circling back to Mr. Anderson at some point in the future, but we'll dial the cork back for you.
I can't. Boy, what a devil's choice. Oh, fuck.
Oh, God. It's gonna be interesting. I'm dripping wet with excitement.
I'm not.
You got a sandpaper vag?
I'm sad. I want to be done.
Well, you can find us on the internet, Bowels of Movie Night, Facebook, Twitter. Send us an email, bowelsofmovienight@gmail.com. Check us out at theearlybeer.com. And we'll probably, hopefully have some other content up soon. So, I'm probably going to try to work on some of that this week. Do a rate, do a subscribe, leave a review if you feel like it. And get your grandmother, get her fucking out of bed, put the earphones in, and make her mow the lawn while she listens to this podcast. She needs to earn her keep, goddammit.
Yeah, okay. Hey,
tired of all these lazy grannies.
Why do you hate grandmothers? What do they do to you?
Because mine left me.
Oh. That's a bummer. Mine are dead.
Hey, everyone dies. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, smell you later.